This is Craig Noyes of Pacific West Home Inspections. Today I'm doing a house on Pass Avenue in Burbank. It's in 1941 and it looks like they've done a lot of remodeling to it. First thing I want to do is show you how to shut off the gas, water, and power. So on the left side of the house you'll find a gas meter, and it's right here. And if you look down here, there's a valve here. You turn this sideways 90 degrees and that would be off. This copper wire here, there's no power to it. And it's a trace wire, so down the road the gas line underneath the soil is made out of plastic, so they put a copper line in there so they can use a magnetic detector to find the gas line in the future. And so that's A-OK to see because it tells us it has a newer plastic line. And the very front of the house, at the very front of the house, there's a yellow lever on a valve. You turn that up and that shuts off all the water to the house. There is a copper lines coming into the house, and under all the appliances of plumbing fixtures I found copper. And it does have a regulator to lower the pressure. When you have a regulator, you're supposed to have a PRC, pressure relief valve, as well, and I did not find one. So next thing we'll look at is how to turn off the electricity, and that will be back at the rear of the house. I'm now at the very rear of the house, and hopefully with the shadows you'll be able to see this. There's a main switch here, main disconnect. It's a 200 amp service, and you throw the breaker this way and that shuts off all the power to the house. They'll shut off all the breakers to your house here. And then there's some breakers down on the bottom that are not labeled and they're not on today, so if they're not being used they're still supposed to be labeled not in use. So there's some additional labeling can happen here. So that's the three utilities: gas, water, and power. Next thing we'll look at is the attic real quick. Now when I'm up in the attic, it looks like they had a fire here one time. You can see the discoloration in the wood, and in this case here they call it cistrine. They put a new rafter next to the old, and the original ridge board was a 2x4, and they put a 2x6 in, and you can see the new boards here. And I'm going to bring the camera around here. A little harder to see over there, but all the wood is charred. And typically when they have a fire they paint it over to kill the smell, so that wasn't done. And in the attic you have insulation, and they have newer ducts. I'm going to bring the camera around. And they have newer sewer lines they put in. And then this corrugated line here is from the vent over the hood vent over the stove. And we don't use a corrugated type of vent line. It should be a smooth wall metal pipe, so that needs to be repaired. What happens, grease gets in the corrugations and may cause a grease fire, which we don't like to see. You can see it's fully insulated, and this is what you have in your attic. So I'm at the back of the house, and they've added a new patio here, and it's raised up from the original grade of the house. The patio now, the surface of it's higher than the foundation. The surface is against the wood framing of the house. So what happens in a case like that, you may get water moisture coming in, or termite path for termites. So you'll have to go and see what the termite inspection had. You can see this is the original level here, and they increased it up 4 or 5 inches above the wood framing sill plate of the walls. So That's not the proper way of doing things. So now onto the roof. And they have a patio low pitch roof over the patio arbor, and it's a cap sheet, and there's probably permits for it. It's a hot mopped cap sheet, 90 pounds. So typically they last about 12 to 15 years. There's signs of ponding there. But I don't see any deterioration to it, so that's a good thing. So again, when it's hot mopped, we'll see tar coming out. And they got a little area here where it's got gaps. So this needs to be repaired. And also up here, they have what we call a package unit. This is both your air conditioning and your furnace, and it's what they many times use for a retrofit. The original house did not have air conditioning, so they crane this unit up, and then they install the ducts in the attic, and run a gas line up here, and that's pretty much all there is to installation of them. It's a temp star, and the gas line's off to the side. We actually like to see a we call it sediment trap. It's a piece of pipe that comes down. Comes down like this, and on the side here we'll get the age, and it's a 3.5 ton unit. It looks like it's 2006, and Tempstar is made by International Comfort Products, ICP. They have a whirly bird ventilator here. And as we climb the top, your chimney is short. It's supposed to be 2 feet above the roof line or anything that's way within 10 feet radius. So it's loose. And it does have a spark arrestor. And they put a bar here to give some more strength. Nowadays, they don't typically want to use any bars outside, angle iron. It makes it too rigid. They found it cracks. So I'm going to bring the camera around to the front of the house. You can see it's a looks like a newer cap sheet, and this there's an ABS plumbing vent that comes up, and then you have a couple vents here that want to be for your hood, for your kitchen hood, and the other one's abandoned hood. At the very top of the roof, we call it a ridge cap, and these typically go out at 8 to 10 years. You can see these are still in good condition. So the roof is going to be probably put in 8 years ago, 6 to 8 years ago, and that's what you have. I'm going to bring the camera around, and you can see what your neighborhood looks like from up here. And yeah, but we have service cables coming in, and your neighbor's got a slate roof, and it's got a bunch of cracked tiles on that, so thank goodness you have a composition roof. I prefer these. These typically last about 20-25 years, so you have another 15 years or so on the roof. Again, this is Greg Noyes, Pacific West Home Inspections, and I can be reached at 818-271-0417 or on the web www.ehomeinspector.com.